Welcome back to the next concept under graphs and transformations. We are on our second last concept as of right now, where I'm filming this. And it's going to be talking about the variations of graphs. So now let's try the next question over here. And same thing, feel free to pause this video to try it out for yourself. And when you're ready, come back and let's tackle this question together. So now we are supposed to sketch the other kind, right? Instead of modulusing, if that's a word, instead of us applying the modulus to the whole graph, we only apply it to the x. So now only the x value is being modulated. Yeah. So the shortcut would be to keep the right and reflect the right onto the left. So everything that was originally on the positive x-axis, we keep it. So I'm just going to draw the y-axis and x-axis first. So since the vertical asymptote of x equals to 1, is not affected because it was originally on the positive x-axis, you will keep it there, right? And then the horizontal asymptote of y equals 2 is also not affected, right? Because we are changing the x, we're not changing the y. So the two asymptotes are the same. And what we do is that everything on the original positive side of the x-axis, so anything over here, we keep it. So we can see that over here, we keep these two, right? And now, originally, for the graph, let's say over here, right? If I zoom in, for this portion of the graph over here, let's say this portion is -1, right? So this over here is f -1. But now what we want to do is that we are changing this to become this, which then becomes this, right? So instead of sketching f -1, we're just going to sketch f1, which is the y value or the output on the right side, and now it's just going to be reflected onto the left side. So that's what's happening underneath the hood, you see. That's why we just say keep the right and then reflect the right onto the left, because that's exactly what's happening underneath the hood. So therefore, we just need to keep this, and we are going to reflect the x over here, right? There will be a asymptote over here, and then we are just going to reflect this over here, right? And then the b value, of course, will still remain over here, but now the a value is no longer it ceased to exist because there's no more portion of this graph over here. It now becomes a completely new graph over here, right? And then this graph would just be modulus x over here. Okay, so with that said, we have come to the end of this variation of modulus. The next video, we are going to be talking about reciprocal, where we'll go through a lot more in-depth in that, and that's actually a lot more complicated concept. So if you have no questions, I'll see you in the next video. If not, leave it in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.